What is up, brethren? How are you doing? How is your bad self today? Okay, this is a video, it's kind of been burning a hole in my head really, that I feel like I've wanted to do for a little while. So what we're going to do is we're just going to look through, basically I've been through a bunch of my friends on chess.com and I've picked up like one of their most recent games, okay, and we've pulled it up in the analysis board, okay, and I want you to look at this really carefully, because the topic of this is about openings. So many of us, and look, I'm as guilty of this as anybody else, right? So many people obsess about openings. Oh, what should I play? What should I play against this? What should I, should I play d4, e4, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, right? When you get to titled level, that stuff matters, okay? And particularly when you're thinking, what's my opponent going to play, this, that and the other, because you're looking for any kind of small advantage. But then the margins in chess get really, really fine, and that simply, boys and girls, does not apply to you and me, okay? So I'm a 1500 level rapid. I don't know what your level is, but let's take a tour through a bunch of my chess.com friends and a bunch of their most recent games, okay? And we're going to start with, so this is Key Moff 92, this is Kieran Moffat, I think, against John 295 from Israel. So Kieran 699, John 700, okay? And just look at the graph here. Look at the graph of how the game's gone, right? So here's the point. This is like the opening phase, okay? And yeah, the advantage went backwards and forwards, right? And then white screwed up, right? And it went to -3. Now, -3 for title players, like we saw in the World Championship or whatever, that pretty much means game over, right? So, let's have a quick look what happened. Brought his queen out, leads to losing material for some reason, because what? Pawn takes, blah, 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 right? Okay, now, if these are master level chess players playing, that was a long line, then that would turn the game, right? But look, here's how the game went, right? Mistake, 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 blunder, excellent move, blah, 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 blunder, 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 boing, 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 all over the shop, right? And eventually white wins. Because it just doesn't matter. That shit doesn't matter. 8 mistakes, 5 mistakes, 2 blunders, 3 blunders, 1 missed win, 2 missed wins. It's not the opening, okay? And we're going to learn this as we go through. Let's have a look at the next one. So this is Stricky 77, and Stricky does well in the opening, right? Gets to +1 situation, right? Which, if you were master players, would be a significant advantage, etc., etc. And then in the middle game loses the advantage and goes down to -3.4, which would be lost, right? And then opponent blunders, puts the king here, and and loses the game, right? Now, did Stricky's good work through the opening to get to this point, right, win him the game? No. What won him the game was he didn't make the last stupid blunder. Okay? Now, here's a complete different one. 50 kg, chess.com friend, rated 2152. Okay? 50 kg here does good work in the opening. Look at this, gets to +2. Gets to +2, right? I don't know what opening this is. Doesn't really matter because it's not about openings. This is the Catalan, whatever that is, right? And then there's a little blunder here, and he's lost his advantage, okay, by playing h4. And then blah, 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 and black ends up winning the game, okay? Did this good work that 50 kg did stand him in good stead in the game? Well, it gave him the opportunity to get into the game and to get into the middle game, and he was doing okay until this point, right? And we are now in the middle game, but it's not, the opening had zero impact on this game, All right, now I'm going to keep going. I don't care. I'm going to bore you with this, right? Because you've got to understand this shit. This shit matters. Okay, this is 3 AVE rated under 1000 against BRM Experience rated 907. Okay, and here white does very well and gets to a +4 situation. Okay, and then blows it, and then we fiddle about a bit, and then black makes another mistake, black makes another mistake, black makes a blunder. Eventually, white goes on to win the game, okay, but nothing to do with the opening at all, right? Next one, let's have a look at this one. How many moves is this? So this is quite a short game. This is a 15-move game, right? And this is with 1100, so Mr. Pepper 1980 against Janti Panos, right? It ends up falling to a kind of a fool's mate kind of pattern, right? But did the opening have anything to do with that? No, absolutely bugger all. Because actually black was doing quite well up until this point, which is move, 6, So black was doing quite well, and it's a blunder. It's a blunder that done it, okay? And loses the knight, okay? Next up, got another half a dozen to look at. This is George Frowny 965 against Mad ML2 Matt, who's my chess.com friend at 10-12, and it's very, 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 very tight, right? With a Re Lopez situation, blah, 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 and then knight g5 is a blunder because he blunders his knight, right? Boom, badder, and he's a knight down, and he goes on to lose the game. Did the opening make any difference at all to the outcome of that game? No, it didn't. What did? Leaving his stupid knight undefended in the middle of the board and hanging. Okay, now we're around the 1300. So I Khaled 92 rated 1292, Joker Ben rated 1309, and again, right? So white does quite well here. Gets a bit of an advantage, throws it away, gets a bit of an advantage, throws it away, does it again. And in this middle game kind of stuff, it's all very, very, very tight, and the ending ends up completely balanced, and to be honest, I don't know who wins. And it's a draw in the end, right? So all this work in the opening, it's not what affects the game, okay? And is there a point to this? Yes, there is. It'll come on. Here's another one, right? This is at 1100 against the 1200. White gets a huge advantage, nearly +4 at this point, and then completely bollockses the whole thing up and throws it away and ends up getting checkmated. Right? Boom. Right? This is 1200. 1100 against 1200. Okay? Does great work, gets a huge advantage, and it's... So the bottom line is, what we're seeing from this. So this is my friend the dude, 6400. Okay? Again, very tight in the opening, blah, blah, blah. White gets a bit of an advantage and blunders it away. Mistake, 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 blunder, blunder, blunder. It's like a blooming ECG. Yeah? And in the end, black wins because he didn't make the last mistake. Right? The last mistake was made by white here, who, whatever, does this there, and the defender of the queen here is pinned. Right? Big mistake, huge, and checkmate, yeah? 2 more, just for fun. Look at this one. This is an 1100 playing a 972. You'd expect the 1100 to wipe the floor with the 972. In fact, the 972 does very, very well, gets to +5, throws it away a bit, gets +5 again, completely blunders, goes to -5, right? Somehow with that move. And then so black has the advantage, black blunders the advantage, puts white straight back in the thing, in the driving seat, then white completely blunders, and blunder, 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 and we end up with mate in 3 situation, and white goes on to win. Right? And finally, look at this. Look at this. It's like, oh my God, the seismograph, or look. It's like it's almost every single move was oh my Christ, 11 mistakes by white, 17 mistakes by black, 11 blunders, 6... What on earth is this? And this is a 15 plus 10. Guys, you should all be utterly ashamed of yourselves. Look at this. I mean, seriously, we cannot any longer say that even, you know, in the plus 1,000, these guys are both over 1,000, right? So anywhere below 1,500, 1,600, probably, you know, beyond, and as we saw with 50 kg, well over 2,000, the opening seems to bear almost no relation to the result. So, what's the lesson from this? Well, one lesson is that we should focus a lot less on openings. Now, there's nothing wrong. If you want to go and learn some theory, right, and learn how a particular opening works, fine, go ahead, knock yourself out, right? What that gives you is it gives you an opportunity to get to the middle game without having screwed up in a massive way. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? However, if you want to use your time more effectively, then you really need to focus on not blundering. Just not blundering, right? These are two 1,000 players, 17 blunders in that game and 3 missed wins and 28 mistakes, okay? So if you want to improve, if you want to win more games, if you want your rating to go up, then my advice is forget about openings, okay? I'm not saying forget about opening theory. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to switch over to the Lichess Explorer, okay? And let me, for example, show you an incredibly simple system that you could use as white, for example. And the system is e4 and then d4 against anything that your opponent does. So let's go through this, right? Let's say, and I'm not talking about bullet and blitz, I'm talking about do this in rapid if you want to, okay? Okay, e4, most common move, and I'll show you the settings, right? This is set to 1600 and blitz and rapid, all right? So, most common response, e5. You go d4, the centre game leading to the Danish gambit, right? Happy days, right? And a good time is had by all. Okay, what's the second most popular move? c5, right? The Sicilian. And what do we do? d4. What's that called? It's called the Mora gambit or the Smith-Mora gambit. Black takes, you go here, they take, blah, 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 right? And this is all just opening, you know, basic principles. And we've got a nice position and, you know, and white wins 53% of these games. Okay? We didn't see what white wins in the Danish 53% of these games. Right? What's the third most common response? Aha, the French. Okay? Look, what's the most common second move by white? d4. Just hit d4. They do this, you can bring your knight out, they can do this, they can do that, and blah, blah, blah. And this is called the, it's a Rubinstein, but this is another kind of gambit, whose name I cannot remember at this point in time. But if you're a Vienna player, you know, you'll be familiar with that kind of setup. Okay, we go e4, and we've seen the French. d5, the Scandinavian, right? You go d4, what's this called? The Blackmar gambit, okay? Take, knight out here, the Blackmar Dima gambit, same deal, right? Opponent can do that, you do that, blah, 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 you know, happy days. You go e4 on move 1, and whatever they do. So next we've seen the Scandi, the Caro-Kann. You play d4, they do this, you can go advanced variation, you can go fantasy variation, you can do what the hell you want. You can bring your knight out, all kinds of things that you can do, right? Here out, we've done Caro-Kann. What about d6? Very boring, the Pitt's defense. d4, that's what I play anyway, right? And look, everyone else does. It's the most common move and wins 50% for white, 46% for black, right? So this is the point, guys, right? What about g6? g6 is like the modern, right? Yeah, g6, most common response, d4. So the whole point is, You can throw out 2 pawns in the opening against anything that your opponent does. Now, however, there's one wrinkle, which is the Alekhine defense, right? And it doesn't matter. You can do that. This is actually a known gambit. This is the Omega gambit, right? You do this, and it's actually this is very, very unsound, right, for white. Black actually wins 57% of games from this point. However, there are ideas that you can do. So you can bring like your bishop out to here, for example. And if the knight retreats, which is the most common move, right? Played most of the time, probably like 2/3 of the time, knight retreats, and you play c4, okay? And white wins 57% of the time from here. And that's all you need to know. So the point is, give yourself a break and stop obsessing over openings. You know, I do it because I enjoy it, right? I'm doing my series on the Danish Gambit because I love it. I love the Danish Gambit, and I want to punish my opponents quickly, straight out of the opening. But the point is, as we've seen from all of those example games, I mean, I didn't pick and choose those. They were just the first games that I clicked on Analyze, right? They came up, and they're all like this, and the person that is winning the player that is winning in the opening it's got no relation to who wins the game. So, what do we say? You want to improve at chess, right? Unless you are 2,000 and above, quit obsessing about openings and theory and all that kind of stuff. What you need to do is you need to improve how well you play chess. Because these openings, all they do is they get you into the game, right? Hopefully not behind. That's it. That's it, right? But the person who wins the chess game is the player who plays the best chess from that point. It's almost never automatically the person who plays the opening, because you've seen, even if someone has a slight advantage in the opening, they nearly always throw it away, and they may regain the advantage later on, and they may go on to win. But as we've seen, up and down, guys, right? So far more important than wasting time on openings is study tactics and try to minimize your blunders, right? And how do you do that? Well, I think that the best way is to work live with a coach, right? So I'm going to talk about Chess Bootcamp Live, and we've got I've got a cold coming on. Chess Bootcamp Live, where the whole idea is that you get to work out your thought process. Now, you can do this in lessons, if you can pay for lessons, if you find a coach that you get on with. In Chess Bootcamp Live, we do it in groups, okay? So we have, for example, in the last session I did the other day, we had 5 or 6 participants live. We did a bunch of puzzles, and we did a game against one of the chess.com bots. Okay, and we had everybody speak out. What do you see on the board, right? What if we do this? What if we do that? And then I, as a coach, was able to say, well, how about this? And this is the point. This is the point. Because the best way to learn, the best way to spot those blunders or those mistakes or those missed wins, right, is for somebody to go, right? It's like you're almost going to fall off, and they grab your collar and say, aha, saved your life, right? What have you missed? They make you stop. They make you look again, right? They make you read the board in a very slightly different way. And when you catch those things in real time, right, then that's when you get to rewire your brain, right? You can read all the books. You can watch all the grandmasters on Twitch or YouTube or wherever, streaming to their heart's content. You can watch full-time, right, grandmaster stuff. But quite honestly, I think that's more like what's the word for voyeurism? Yeah, it's grandmaster chess porn is basically what you're doing. You're watching really, really good players play at a really, really high standard. Is not very, very likely to help you not screw up and basically shit the bed when you are in the middle of a game. And we've seen we all do it. Everybody does it. All right? Now, you make different types of blunders and mistakes as you work your way up through the ratings. Yeah. So this is why the way that we do it with Chess Bootcamp Live is that you have a coach who is a few hundred points, normally about 500 points higher rated than the band that they're working with, okay? Because they know what it's like to be in that band and to work your way up. So they can help you spot the mistakes, and in a way that isn't embarrassing, but you go, oh yeah, now I see it, now you pointed it out, I see it. Okay, and that's how it gets burned into your thinking, right? So if you want to join, you can still join the pilot, and you can still get it at a discount. So you go along to chessbootcamp.club and put in the code CBC and you'll that means that you can sign up for $39 instead of $49 a month. But I really do recommend that you do that now, because we've got some very, very big changes possibly coming in the pipeline quite soon, but I can't say any more about that right now. But yeah, come on, do that now. Right now we're running 4 live sessions every week, but it could be a lot more very soon, okay? And the sessions have been fantastic. So yeah, do go along, chessbootcamp.club, put in the code, all in capitals, CBC friend, and get the discount. Come and join us on the live sessions. Come and work with me, come and work with Craig and Christina and James, and let us help you to improve that way. But bottom line, give yourself a break and forget stressing and obsessing about all these openings, because it's not really going to help you win more games. All right, guys, see you soon.